Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
It is the Vol Report with the one, the only Cooper Mays. I am Dave Hooker, encouraging you to like and subscribe to this video so you can hear more about Cooper Mays, more about the Vols, and more about the SEC, more about football as we are almost there. Cooper Mays join us now, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. I'll tell you more about them. First, Cooper, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty well. I can't complain much at all. How are you?
I'm well. My body's probably in slightly better shape. You're midways through preseason camp. How's the wear and tear? Because this is kind of the dog days, so to speak.
Pretty good. This is our off day, so I just got a massage and a little recovery kind of thing going on. So I honestly can't complain. I feel about as good as you can get during the fall camp.
Yeah, you had said publicly earlier that you felt really, really good, and part of it you attributed to the off season and what you had been able to do. So just compare and contrast the beginning to middle of preseason camp 2021 and now.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like success throughout camp. So like the biggest thing with fall camp is like you got to string days together. Like you got to put stack days back to back. And it's really hard to do with like the workload that's going on. So the longer your body can last at like the production level that you were at, the kind of shows how well you did during your off-season training. So I would say I like kind of felt like my body dropping off at like day maybe 3 or 4 like last season. And I would say probably I probably didn't really feel like I had like an off day really till about practice 8, I would say. So probably about double the time.
That's pretty insightful for a young man that you're taking track of that either mentally or maybe you're taking notes. And I don't know, but you're that attuned to your body apparently.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody's like, I like to pay attention to my body, like try to be in tune with it as much as possible. You know, it's really physical sport. So if you don't take your body, you're probably not going to be very successful throughout the whole season.
No, I'd say that's right. So Cooper Mays join us, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. City Heating and Air Conditioning, or cityheatandair.com. For over 50 years, City Heating and Air Conditioning has provided East Tennesseans with honest, dependable heating and cooling service. That is City Heating and Air Conditioning. They're about integrity at City Heating and Air Conditioning. So they don't show up and say, we're going to do a $29 sort of tune up, and then you have to buy a $3,500 unit. That's City Heat and Air. It's about integrity and trust. So, Cooper, as far as Darnell Wright, you said it. He was selfless to move to right tackle. You said he was a really good athlete, and so far, it looks like that is all true because Josh Heupel saying over the weekend he's going to stay at right tackle, and he can be really, really good there, which gives you guys a kind of a different look offensively, I would think, heading into the season.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of just confidence. I would say having kind of some guys that are some surefire starters that are like you know who are what they're capable of and everything, and they're consistent. It always probably gives you a little bit of confidence in it. So Darnell's had a really good camp so far. He's had a really physical camp. I've seen just huge strides from him. So you'll always have confidence in a guy like that.
Yeah, I would think also too. We'll get to the left tackle position, but when you have a guy that has so much experience on the right side, that creates a certain sort of balance. I wonder if it opens up what you guys can do offensively this year too, maybe even a little bit more of the playbook.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we've been fortunate so last year we had Cade, and then this year we got somebody like Darnell. You're really fortunate if you can have two guys back to back like that. So, it definitely it gives you a lot of options to do in the run game, and maybe we'll kind of allow you to slide away from him a little bit, let him be on the island, let him work by himself more in the passing game. So it probably does open up a little bit more than I realize, but I'm not probably at that coaching level where I can see the game plan stuff. But yeah, I'm sure security.
Well, I think there are a lot of coaches that would point out that I'm not at that coaching level either, Cooper. So you may not be the only one.
It's above my pay grade for sure. No
Yeah,
doubt.
I think Philip Fulmer might say I'm a little outside of my lane as well. But as far as the two guys battling it out, let's start with senior Jeremiah Crawford. Just tell me what you think about Jeremiah, what he brings to the table as a player, as a person, as a teammate.
Yeah, no doubt. I would say he's somebody that's, he's even probably surprised me a little bit with how much he's grown and developed over this past, off season. I think he's turned himself into a completely different ball player than he probably was when he first had gotten here. And I'm really happy to see that personally. He's a guy that's, he's a little bit more on the quiet side, but you know exactly what you're going to get out of him every day for sure.
Yep. And then let's go with the guy who's competing at left tackle, according to Josh Hopley yesterday. That was on Sunday scrimmage, depending on when you're watching, is Gerald Mincy, a sophomore. What do you think of Gerald?
Yeah, that's a guy. He transferred in from Florida this offseason. And then, the first thing you really realize about Gerald is he's huge. He's an extremely, big guy. Like he's probably one of our, the biggest people on our team. Got really long arms. So, he's got a lot of potential, especially on, the pass protection side of it, being able to, keep length and, keep defenders kind of off of his body. So he's kind of, I feel like he's got a little bit, he's got a little bit of stuff to work on, but a body like his, the intangibles and the just physical tools that he's got is just a lot of stuff that you want as a coach. So he's also another guy that has a lot of potential for sure. So he's just got to kind of take that next step and fill it out.
As far as the athleticism, the size speed ratio, we had talked about a couple of different guys and their athleticism. Darnell was one of them. You and I talked about Elijah Simmons too, another guy that has great athletic ability. Where does Mincy rank among the top athletic big guys on the roster?
Yeah, he's definitely up there, for sure. But like I was saying, Darnell, people like Darnell are like once in a generation. Like we all look at Darnell and we're just like, we don't even know how you do that. So nobody even really compares themselves to Darnell really anymore. It's not even at that point. So, but yeah, definitely for big guys, he's up there for physical specimen kind of thing. Very impressive.
Thoughts on moving into the second half of preseason camp with Cooper Mays, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Easy for me to say, Coop.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
Coop, you mentioned Gerald Mincy transferring from Florida, which is still so weird to me. I'm glad you guys can transfer. I think players should have had more rights for about the past 30, 40, 50 years. I'm happy for all this, but it's still weird. So the fact that you have a Florida guy or a guy from another team on your team, then do you ask them, how are things where you were? Is it something you guys talk about, the differences between programs, or was that addressed?
I don't even know. It's not like an elephant in the room, but kind of just nobody really brings it up. I don't really know. We kind of, we're inside the locker room and everything, but we're kind of really just in there just talking like we really don't even talk about football probably as much as people think, because that's what we do all day. But I don't know, it's just kind of something nobody really. I mean, you can maybe ask something like somebody may ask Gerald about Florida, but like Gerald will probably not be the one that's sitting there talking about Florida, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Well, you know what fans want to hear is there an opportunity for you to get some sort of inside information? I don't know that there is, but I mean, is there when players come from other programs?
I guess it kind of depends on the person, I guess, or the place that they come from. I'm pretty sure Gerald, I think when he was playing there, I think they had a different coaching staff, so I'm sure it'll be all different and everything. So I have no clue. I mean, I'm sure in some situations it may work out like that, but I haven't ever seen it with my own eyes. It would be pretty cool though. I'm sure probably give you a pretty good advantage, but I haven't seen it personally.
Yeah, they had a complete meltdown. So a different coaching change altogether. And that Tennessee Florida game is one that's out there. A lot of fans are going to have circled. I'm a little bit older, obviously. I remember when the CBS trucks would roll in on Monday before a Saturday game. I was a student there, and it was such a big deal, that Tennessee Florida game in the 90s, because the winner had a chance to play possibly for a national title. The loser didn't have a chance to win the East.
Right.
And I'm curious how you view Florida as a rival now, and how big of a game that would be, and how you'd like to chalk that up as a win in September.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask anybody around here, I think they're always going to say that Florida's one of our top rivals. So I think we take it extremely serious, and that's one of the games that we all have marked as Tennessee fans or alumni, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, everybody's hyped up about the Florida game. We love that week.
What do you tell the young player that comes to you, or maybe even doesn't come to you, and you can just tell he's gassed? This is midway through preseason camp. He's struggling. I look at you as an upperclassman type of leader, and what do you tell the young man that's struggling midway through camp?
Yeah, I would just tell him not to lose focus of like what the goal is. Like, I kind of really tell a lot of freshmen get down and out about not playing in their first year or starting or whatever, or getting meaningful reps and stuff. But I kind of tell them, I'm like, the SEC is not very friendly. Like, if we're being very honest, like a 18-year-old kid going up against like a 21 or 22-year-old man that's been playing football for 4 or 5 years in the SEC, it's just like not even really comparable. So I tell kids to just kind of live where their feet are and do what you can, learn what you can, and get better. But do not be super, upset and just kind of, flying off the rails about not starting year one, because it takes a really special person to do that. It really does.
Well, it does. And do you have an example of somebody that's maybe come from, hey, I'm at a point where I don't think I'm going to play, I'm going to transfer, to I'm a contributor now? Is there anybody in particular that stands out to you?
Not anybody in specifics, but I mean, I would say a lot of every player, hits that point. I mean, maybe not like so extreme as they want to transfer or whatever, but there's always going to be days where you wake up. I mean, I'm sure anybody in any type of work would say there's days that you wake up that you just think like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can do this like today. So I mean, it just depends on what type of person you want to be. If you want to get up and fight the day and conquer it, if you want to kind of just hit the snooze button and kind of drift off a little bit. So just finding a way to keep your discipline and focus on the task at hand instead of getting just bogged down, really.
Do you ever get bogged down? Do you ever get down? Because
Yes.
Yeah, and now you're a starter and you're all SEC, but there was a time that, and you pointed out on your Twitter page, you got it pinned up at the top about the overlooking you. There was a time you were a 3-star guy. There was a time you were oversized. When did you get down?
Oh, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've been down. I mean, I can't think of like a specific, time range. I could probably say, a lot of times during my freshman year, like there's many a days where you just wake up and kind of just, it's just so much. Everything moves so fast. You go from being a high school kid that goes home every night. Your mom cooks for you. You get to go to bed. Your mom maybe might wake you up in the morning or whatever, and then you got 2 hours of practice after a day of class. You know what I'm saying? So to go to college football, in a fall camp day, you wake up at 6:30 and you're not getting home till 9 o'clock at night. I mean, that's a lot to process for an 18-year-old kid, and then throw on the fact that, oh my goodness, I might have to start and play like a SEC D line this week, and you don't know if you're there yet confidently, and it's a heavy load. It really is. I mean, in the SEC you get no weeks off. In high school, that you play a good team, and then you might play a team from out in the sticks that's not very good, and you might be paying them some money so that they can come play you or whatever. So in the SEC, you're getting, the Bamas, the Georgias, the Floridas, whatever team you name. I mean, there's going to be good players on it. So there's no time to rest.
Yep. Good stuff. Coop, as always, we appreciate the time. Cooper Mays, follow him on Twitter at Cooper Mays. And we certainly appreciate it, buddy. We will talk to you again next week. It's brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. It's about integrity. That's cityheatandair.com. This is a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.